The morning after my wedding, I woke up alone. At first, that didn't seem strange. Maybe my wife had gone downstairs to grab breakfast. Maybe she was taking a walk along the beach outside the hotel. But then I noticed something that made my heart drop. Her suitcase was gone. Her wedding dress was gone. Her phone number had been disconnected. And the woman I had just married less than 12 hours earlier had completely vanished. No note, no message, no explanation. Just like that. My wife disappeared after our wedding night. But the truth I discovered months later was far worse than abandonment. Because the woman I married was never who she said she was. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to ask you something. If you woke up the morning after your wedding and your partner had completely vanished, what would you do? Would you panic? Would you search for them? Or would you start questioning everything you thought you knew? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoy powerful stories about betrayal, secrets, and shocking twists, make sure you subscribe to Broken Vow Stories. Because stories like this prove that sometimes the person you trust the most is hiding the darkest truth. Now let me tell you how this nightmare began. Her name was Charlotte. At least, that's what she told me. We met in the most ordinary way possible. A rainy Tuesday afternoon at a bookstore cafe downtown. I had taken the day off work. The weather was miserable, so I decided to spend the afternoon reading. The place smelled like fresh coffee and old books. Quiet. Peaceful. Then suddenly, someone bumped into my table. Coffee spilled everywhere. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I looked up. Standing there was a woman with long dark hair and the most apologetic smile I had ever seen. She grabbed napkins and started frantically cleaning the mess. I couldn't help but laugh. It's okay, I told her. Really? She looked embarrassed. Let me at least buy you another coffee. And that simple accident changed everything. Charlotte and I started seeing each other almost immediately. She was charming, kind, funny, but what made her special was how easy everything felt. Some relationships feel like work. This one felt effortless. Within weeks, we were spending almost every evening together. Dinner dates, late-night conversations, long walks through the city. Charlotte told me she worked in marketing for a travel company. She said she loved exploring new places. She said she hated lies. And most of all, she said she had been hurt before, that she had once trusted someone who betrayed her. Looking back now, I realize how perfectly she crafted her story. Because when someone tells you they hate lies, you never imagine they're lying to you. 6 months later, I proposed. Some people say that's too fast, but when something feels right, you stop questioning it. I planned the proposal on the beach where we took our first trip together. The sunset that evening looked like something out of a movie. Orange sky, gentle waves, perfect silence. I got down on one knee. Charlotte didn't even let me finish the sentence. She burst into tears and said yes immediately. Then she hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. I promise, she whispered, I will never leave you. Those words replay in my mind even today. Because the very next day, she broke that promise. Our wedding was small but beautiful. Only close friends and family. Charlotte looked stunning in her white dress. Everyone kept telling me how lucky I was. And I believed them. When she walked down the aisle toward me, I remember thinking one simple thing. This is the happiest moment of my life. We said our vows, exchanged rings, and when we kissed, the entire room erupted in applause. Later that night, we checked into a hotel suite for our wedding night. Charlotte seemed relaxed, happy, excited about our future. Nothing about that night hinted at what was coming. If anything, she seemed even more loving than usual, which makes what happened next even harder to understand. The next morning, I woke up alone. At first, I thought Charlotte had gone to grab coffee, but then I noticed the empty closet. Her dress was gone. Her suitcase was gone. Even the small travel bag she carried everywhere had disappeared. My heart started racing. I grabbed my phone and called her. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail. Then I saw something that made my stomach drop. Her phone number had been disconnected. Within hours, my wife had completely vanished. At first, I thought something terrible had happened. Maybe she had been kidnapped. Maybe someone forced her to leave. I contacted the police, filed a missing persons report. But then the investigation started revealing something strange. The company Charlotte said she worked for had never heard of her. The apartment she claimed to rent had been empty for months. Even the social media profile she showed me suddenly disappeared. It was like she had erased herself from existence. And that's when I realized something horrifying. Maybe Charlotte hadn't been kidnapped. Maybe she had planned this. 3 months passed, but I couldn't move on. Something inside me needed answers. So I hired a private investigator named Daniel. He was quiet, methodical, and very good at his job. 2 weeks later, he called me. I found something, he said. His voice sounded serious. Your wife isn't who you think she is. Daniel discovered something terrifying. Charlotte wasn't her real name. Her real name was Laura, and she had done this before. Not once, not twice, but 4 times. Every few years she would meet someone, build a relationship, gain their trust, marry them, then disappear with money and valuables. She was a professional scam artist, and I was her latest victim. But what shocked me most was what Daniel said next. She's already planning her next wedding. Daniel eventually tracked her down. Another city, another name, another fiancé. I drove there immediately. When I finally saw her standing outside a cafe, my heart stopped. She looked exactly the same. Beautiful, calm, untouched by guilt. When she saw me, her expression changed instantly. For the first time, she looked afraid. We sat down at a table. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Then she sighed. I wondered when you'd find me. No apology, no shame, just acceptance. I asked her the question that had haunted me for months. Why? Why lie? Why marry me? Why disappear? She shrugged. You were easy to trust. Those 4 words shattered me. But then she said something even more disturbing. For a moment, I almost stayed. Almost. That single word haunted me, because it meant the relationship might have been real. For a moment, but not enough to stop her from running. The police eventually arrested her months later, but the emotional damage she left behind could never be repaired. Because when someone disappears after your wedding night, they don't just take your trust. They take the future you believed in. And sometimes, the person you loved was never real at all.